Hey guys, Sean here. So this topic is just slightly controversial. I think it's really becoming more and more common knowledge. But anyway, the Great Flood that occurred sometime in our past. This global event that impacted pretty much everyone in the world and destroyed almost everything. And then we rebuild. We had to rebuild from practically the beginning. And a lot of the traditional teachings in this world, um, in schools, etc., have our human starting point as after the flood, when we just kind of came out of wherever, ancient Egyptians, the Babylonians, the Mayan Indians, etc. Some of the earlier cultures that have possessed a wisdom and knowledge, and were relatively advanced for the time. Okay, so but before that was just the after the floods first civilizations that were kind of making an impact on the world. Before the flood, there was a whole bunch of other civilizations and things going on, and that's always fascinated me. That before the flood, the world before the flood, just freaking awesome topic to look into because there is so much potential there and so much variety available. It's hard to get good information, of course, but anyway, before the flood, there were abilities that human beings possessed, that human beings were native to, like the abilities that were quite part of everyday life. And since that time, there's been different references, different descriptions on why human beings have had these abilities essentially go dormant. There are others who say that's foolish. There's no such thing as those abilities. And but yeah, before the flood, we as humans could do things that we can't do now. But due to again things that are kind of out of our hands that are influencing the world, energies, if you will, are changing the game to where human beings are starting to reawaken to some of these abilities. Okay, so the whole point of this, there's a lot of directions we can go in on this one. I would like to narrow it down to a word in the English language that strongly suggests that one of these abilities was real and based in real things. Um, the ability that's being suggested is a form of magic or a form of mental. Now, I'm not saying this is good or bad. That's up to you to define because good and bad is defined by the person. It's all relative. There is no such thing as truly good or truly bad. There is there's qualities to energies, but definitions, that's up to us people to figure out. So, an ability of humans to influence other people's mood or attitude about things and to be like super charismatic or influential. And the negative aspect of being manipulative. Okay. The word charm, charming, charm or charming. Think about it. Think about it. Really. If the word charm, um, you could have a horseshoe, rabbit's foot, whatever your culture dictates as like there's a cereal called Lucky Charms. So yes, charms. They are supposedly magical. Good luck, a charm. That's what the implication is. I'm not saying this is literal, although it could be. I'm just saying that societally, a charm, a magic charm, okay? There is charming. Now, here, this gets a little bit more closer to home because now we're talking about how it actually interfaces with a human being. When an individual is said to be charming, what is that actually like? What does that say? Without looking at the standard definition, I'm just talking about life experience, how it feels to hear the word, your life experience with that word. Someone who is charming. What does that like mean to you? To me, I hear someone is charming, and it sounds to me like that person can come across in a more positive way, regardless of who that person really is when they're interacting with someone else. Hey, what about, hey, you're under his charm? Where'd that come from? You're under his charm or his spell. Those are interchangeable. You're under his spell. You're under his charm. Again, it suggests some level of influence at a deeper level when you're interacting with someone else. So think about the word charm or charming, and it suggests an old ability of human beings who today's world would go back and see those human beings as more magical to do things that are considered not scientifically valid and realistic. Charm. How did that word come about?